Okay, good afternoon. This webinar today will be on utilizing NTPEP Technical Committee User Guides. As we go through the presentation, there's going to be spots for everyone to ask questions, so please hold your questions until that point and ensure you're muted throughout the presentation. This presentation will be available after today as a recorded webinar on our YouTube channel, and I'll discuss that a little bit at the end of the presentation. You'll be sent a link to that YouTube channel after today's webinar has been processed and recorded. Let's go through. So first off, we wanted to discuss what a user guide is. At NTPEP, we've developed these user guides to sort of summarize the technical work plans for each of the committees, as well as examples of how states have utilized the programs, and basically just summarize things and simplify them into a much more digestible avenue. These are all available on the technical committee pages on the website. And I'll let Kelly show you exactly how to find these.
Hi there, I'm here. Sorry about that. Finding the mute button. NTPEP recognizes, can you guys hear me? I want to make sure.
Yep, you're good.
Okay. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Kelly Morse with the Illinois DOT. I am a member of the NTPEP Steering Committee and Vice Chair for 2 technical committees. I'm going to outline how Illinois uses the Asphalt Release Agent User Guide. First, we need to find the user guides. So if you go to the NTPEP homepage at ntpep.org, you'll see a tab for the technical committees. It's circled there in red on the slide. You'll click on that tab. And that tab contains a separate link for each of the technical committees. It includes the NTPEP audit programs, as well as the product evaluation programs and the different task force. You will click on the program of interest. For this webinar, I am going to select the Asphalt Release Agent tab to demonstrate how Illinois DOT has used the ARA program to populate our state's QPL. This tab contains a basic overview of the program, the lab responsible for the testing, and the technical committee members, including contact information if you ever wish to seek additional information regarding the specific program. The tabs at the top will dive you deeper into the program and provide details and specifics about the ARA Product Evaluation Program or any program you should select. If you select the Documents tab, it will take you one step closer to the user guide. The Documents tab contains the work plan, and that's where all the testing details are outlined. The user guide, where you can find some best practices, and then implementation of the program suggestions may be found there as well as the QC QA guide. And this is where the expectations of the test facilities are documented. We will click on the Asphalt Release Agents tab and explore the details of that document. Again, I have it highlighted in red if you're trying to follow along or want to use this later. The ARA User Guide is a 6-page document that introduces the program, provides some key aspects of the program, and the terminology, including some of the health and safety information within the program, a review of the evaluations, and the significance of the data generated, including links to Texas DOT specifications and the material producers list, as well as the Illinois quality assurance for asphalt release agents. The next step I'm going to do is outline the details of the Illinois plan so that you guys can see how Illinois implements and uses the ARA program to populate our QPL. So prior to implementation of the NTPEP program for asphalt release agents in Illinois, we had an extensive ARA testing and qualification program in place. Illinois tested pH, solids content, the ATR-FTIR were collected, and we ran gravimetric asphalt stripping. Illinois had a lengthy QPL already established. When Illinois decided to start using the ARA NTPEP product evaluation program, it was in an effort to save time, money, resources, and allow more focus on the quality assurance side of our DOT work in sampling and testing of products from Illinois and Illinois asphalt plants. Illinois' implementation of the user guide goes into detail regarding the implementation of the ARA NTPEP program to qualify ARA products. The Illinois program uses NTPEP testing data found in DATAMINE to compare to Illinois qualification requirements. If the test data found in DATAMINE meet the IDOT qualification requirements for ARA, it is then placed on our QPL. The user guide also includes the quality assurance aspects of our program, including the field samples for verification that the material tested by NTPEP is what was delivered to Illinois. Illinois does not allow greater than 0.1% change in mass as reported in grams during the T383 stripping test, or a comparison value less than 0.85 of the original ATR-FTIR fingerprint. If a significant change in the pH or appearance are noted, the manufacturer will be contacted to determine the root cause for this discrepancy. The ATR-FTIR comparison method is also included in the user guide. Illinois Test Procedure 601 is included in the user guide for the asphalt release agents. It's a comprehensive method for the collection of ATR-FTIR spectra and the subsequent analysis by instrumental software to compare the chemical fingerprint of an asphalt release agent product. The work plan includes the same ATR-FTIR collection procedure so that Illinois and any others wanting to use those spectra can download the ATR-FTIR spectra analyzed by the NTPEP testing facility to your own infrared instrument to compare to the spectra analyzed by your TOT, or Illinois in this case, on those field collected samples of the same product. Illinois established a 0.85 comparison limit for those field samples to verify that they are chemically similar or the same as the product tested by NTPEP. So where do you find the data generated by the NTPEP ARA testing facility? If you return to the ARA Technical Committee page and click on the DATAMINE tab, you can access the ARA test data. You will need to be logged on in order to access all of the information. Each DOT has, because of their state DOT emails, will have access as a registered user of DATAMINE. The vendor data is kept confidential between vendors, but the DOTs will have access to all of the data as populated by the laboratories and placed into DATAMINE. The DATAMINE homepage breaks down into three main tabs: traffic safety, construction and maintenance. ARA falls under the construction tab. The homepage also gives a dashboard of various statistics of the NTPEP program, including the number of evaluated products per category, number of audited facilities, and additional resources such as access to the library and the events calendar. If you go to that construction tab, you'll see that asphalt release agents are the first option. We're going to go ahead and click on that, and that will take you to the ARA DATAMINE access. ARA currently has 86 products in DATAMINE. The NTPEP number indicates the program name, ARA in this case, the year of submission, and identifiers unique to the product application or submission. The manufacturer name, product name, and testing status are shown for each submission. In order to access more detailed information about the product, you will click on the NTPEP number found in the red circle, or rectangular in this case. For this example, I will choose Zep Inc. and the product Pinnacle. The first tab includes product information such as manufacturer, address, manufacturer representative, product information, or other information such as dilution rate, pH, flash point, and the GHS requirement compliance. It also includes a safety data sheet and any other technical literature or information submitted as part of the application. The test data tab contains the test results from the test facility. The tests are run in compliance with the work plan and the cited specifications. The values, photos, and documents are all available to state members and limitedly to the general public. The test data for ARA currently include stripping test, gravimetric, mixture slide test, asphalt performance test, and these tests are all public information. It also includes additional information for pH, flash point, percent solids, specific gravity, and those ATR-FTIR fingerprints. These results are restricted and require login credentials to access. The site also includes photos for those of you who have visual inspection requirements. The Timeline tab in DATAMINE allows the user to identify where the product is in the testing process. It allows an agency the opportunity to verify that a product is being evaluated and monitor its progress. Sometimes manufacturers will submit to NTPEP programs and say that it's in testing, and this is a way for an agency to verify that that is in fact true and where it may be in the testing process. The History tab in DATAMINE provides details on the test and the test facility and the status of the data. It also includes action items, person responsible, and a general comment about the action items. Now I'm going to dive a little bit into how Illinois DOT uses this information to populate our QPL. The Illinois DOT ARA QPL is currently a 7-page document that may be accessed at the link above in this slide. The top of the first page of our QPL is indicative of the format of the QPL. And in the next few slides, I'll show the details of the qualification program. As we move further into the document, the submittal information begins on page 5 of 7. The circle above indicates how Illinois DOT requires that a manufacturer that seeks qualification status in Illinois must use and submit NTPEP information. Notice that it is the requirement that the manufacturer contact the person maintaining the list to indicate when the results are available in DATAMINE. This places the responsibility on the manufacturers, not for an agency to track down whether a product is evaluated or not. Page 6 of 7 of the IDOT QPL provides the contact information for the person in charge of the list. It also outlines the requalification requirements. It includes language put in place to transition IDOT from our own QPL testing protocol to the adoption of NTPEP. I know that's often a question that people have when thinking about using a program is how do I transition from what we currently do to the NTPEP. This is an example of how we handle that in our list. Page 6 of 7 also provides the process for maintaining your qualification status, including the verification and quality assurance testing requirements found in the red circle. Note that we do retest for all field collected samples that fail a criteria before they are removed from our list. The next slide is an example of our IDOT Excel spreadsheet that is utilized to track the IDOT testing program, as well as the introduction of the NTPEP ARA testing for populating our IDOT QPL. Notice the columns above are the NTPEP number. I've taken out some of the details so that those aren't present, but leaving some of the information so that you may see that. It includes the manufacturer, product name, approved calendar year for IDOT, reapproval calendar year for IDOT, the calendar year of NTPEP, the flash point, is the GHS conformance in place, the IDOT gravimetric non-diluted weight change in percent, and that's the average, the IDOT visual stripping observation, if any, and then we have the NTPEP gravimetric non-diluted weight change in percent, and that's the average of those three tests. The IDOT pH that's measured, the NTPEP pH, as well as the NTPEP flash point. And again, this is just an example of how Illinois uses our information and the NTPEP data to verify compliance with our QPL and qualification requirements. I will now open the program up to some questions. If you guys have some questions for me directly on how Illinois handles the qualification of asphalt release agents. If there are no questions, then I will hand it over to Michael. Thank you.
Hello, can everyone hear me? Mike working?
Yep, we can hear you.
Good, okay. All right, hello, my name is Michael Aldrich, like Kelly said. I'm also with the Illinois Department of Transportation. I serve as the lab supervisor here at IDOT for the Metals and Miscellaneous Laboratory, which also serves as the third-party testing facility for NTPEP's reinforcing steel program. I'm also a member of NTPEP's Thermoplastic Committee. But we're going to switch gears a little bit from the product evaluation side of things over to the audit programs. So the audit programs have an all-in-one user guide, and I'm going to go explain a little bit on how we implement these audit programs for some of the materials that we accept. Going back to the technical committee tab, just like for the product evaluation programs, you'll see the audit programs, and we have highlighted the reinforcing steel and wire audit program. If you click on that, that will take you to the reinforcing steel and wire page, much like the product evaluation side of things. If you click on the documents tab, highlighted in red at the top of the page, it will open up the user guide, which is also highlighted in red there. And clicking on that will take you to the user guide. The NTPEP Audit Program User Guide, NAP-1-20 is provided. It's a comprehensive 15-page document that details basic information about all NTPEP audit programs, including the scope, the background, purpose, materials included in the audit program, the audit process, and how to use the results of the audit. The Audit User Guide contains 4 appendices that go into greater detail about each audit program, and we'll summarize a few of these in the next couple of slides. So, scope and background. What is an audit program? What is the basis for an audit? The user guide is going to help members better understand why certain materials are audited at the source, how a material is evaluated, and provides ways of using the results for material acceptance. Purpose of conducting audits is to evaluate the quality system used by the manufacturer. The audit process provides DOTs that may not have means to travel or buy expensive test equipment, independent test results that the DOTs can use for material or producer acceptance. Cost of the audit is the responsible of the manufacturer. So some of the materials in the audit program, as you can see here, HDPE pipe, polypropylene pipe, reinforcing steel, welded wire reinforcement. Not all of those we require to be NTPEP compliant, but as far as metals and miscellaneous audit programs go, we do require the reinforcing steel side, elastomeric bearings, and HDPE corrugated pipe to be NTPEP compliant for our material acceptance. Overview of the audit process includes evaluation of documentations, processes, product samples where applicable. Member agencies are encouraged to attend the audits. Whenever NTPEP is conducting an audit in our state, we do our best to try to be an IDOT representative and visit that during the audit process. Sometimes we're able to, sometimes it's not, it just doesn't work out. But the audit process is described in detail in NTPEP's standard practice SP01, which can be found on the NTPEP website at www.ntpep.org. The results from an audit can be utilized by the member agency in a number of ways. The first would be directly from the audit information presented. If no evaluation system is currently in place. Indirectly, it would be using the audit information and some additional member agency testing, or like a step process, making the audits a step in the acceptance process. And we've Illinois has kind of done a little bit of each one of these in a way. All right, so if I'm looking to find this information, to find out if a facility or producer is NTPEP compliant with a particular audit program, it's back in the DATAMINE Construction site. And what you see there, you see reinforcing steel, wire, and rebar highlighted. That's the one we're going to focus on for this presentation. So there are currently over 80 different facilities that are participating in NTPEP's reinforcing steel audit program. We do see those 80 facilities every single year, and a couple additional facilities every year as the program is expanding and growing and becoming more popular. Okay, on the left side of your screen there, you can see that the big search box highlighted in red. You can use the Find Facilities option to narrow down your search if you're trying to find a particular producer or facility to verify their NTPEP compliance. You can search by manufacturer, you can search by product type, product specification, and even calendar year to find out if a particular manufacturer is participating or if they're compliant. One thing that I have found is that this doesn't really work in Internet Explorer, and so you may want to use a different web browser to use the search function. I just kind of trial and error found that out through the years here. For this demonstration, we're just going to select the type of rebar in calendar year 2021. Okay, if I click on that NTPEP number with WR 2021-01-023, this is going to tell me more about that manufacturer. So in this slide here, we have at the top in red facility information. This first tab is going to cover information that would include like name and address of the manufacturer, as well as the facility contact and excuse me, a manufacturer representative. Other information you will find under the facility information is a brief description of the products and sizes produced by this manufacturer at this facility. At the very bottom, you'll also find this facility's quality manual. Under the Audit Information tab, the upper portion gives the users some brief information about the audit, but some of the more important information is down below. This information you see down here below, we use frequently here at IDOT to verify if a producer is compliant or not. Under the Information tab, the user will be able to find certifying documents that the DOTs can use to verify a manufacturer's audit status. The user will be able to find the final audit report, comparison test report results, and product and tag markings. So this is an example of a compliance certificate that we request that producers provide to us when they are trying to become a part of a qualified list. For IDOT, we have our qualified list for reinforcing steel and dowel bars. We do make them produce this form for us, and we do keep that in our records. The next slide here is going to show you an example of the comparison report. We at Illinois DOT, we get to see this a lot. Like I said, we are the third-party testing facility for the reinforcing steel program. But this comparison report is going to show the test results of the producer and the test results of the third party. and give the user the ability to see how they are comparing, if the results are in line. And typical test results you're going to look at on here, you can see tensile, yield, weight, unit weight of the material, elongation. So we use this document a lot, and we also keep this on file for our IDOT QPLs. The next slide is another example that you'll find under that audit tab is example of markings report. This report is going to show the what product markings might look like, also what the material tag may look like. If you're not familiar with a certain facility's product markings or product tags, this could be extremely helpful to know what to expect when materials arrive on the job site. Oh, this is Illinois DOT's QPL for rebar and dowel producers. The link above is where the qualified list can be found. After the list of qualified producers, the QPL starts highlighting the process to get on the approved list and who to contact. That's usually at the very end of our QPL, which is in that next slide here. Illinois DOT requires that all rebar and dowel producers must be NTPEP compliant before they can start the process of getting on Illinois' list. That policy is noted in multiple places within the QPL and is also highlighted in our policy memorandum 26-08. So you can see down at the bottom of this in section C, the QPL specifies that the certification process will be in accordance with policy memorandum 26-08. And section 6.12 in our policy memorandum does highlight that. Manufacturers may start the process of getting on IDOT's QPL for rebar and dowel bars as long as they are in the process of becoming NTPEP compliant. The final qualified plant status will not be granted until the manufacturer is listed as compliant. So you can see a few of the ways we have implemented using the audit program. Sometimes time and money and travel does not work out the best when we are limited with staffing concerns and travel limitations. So there's a lot of benefit that the audit program can give to member DOTs who are maybe not able to do that type of travel across the country or even maybe into the next state even. So we find a lot of value in it. We kind of use it as a plant certification procedure. And that's why we've implemented those into our policy memorandums and our qualified product lists. But I hope this gives you a good idea of some ways or ideas that you can implement the audit programs going into the future. So that is all I have. If you have any questions, I could take those now. Okay.
So we'll go ahead and open up for general questions at this point, whether it's on how the user guides are laid out, how to utilize the user guides, or if any other states on the line want to discuss various ways that they've implemented NTPEP programs, whether it's starting from the user guides or information at other areas of NTPEP. And I guess while you're thinking of questions, I wanted to highlight some other resources that NTPEP has for you to access. We do have a YouTube channel where we record webinars, where we host the recorded webinars and tutorials for DATAMINE. We will send out a link to the YouTube channel when this webinar is finalized, along with a recording of this. You can also reach out to NTPEP staff. We're currently the liaisons of all the technical committees. We can either tie you to states that are currently utilizing the programs or provide assistance from the NTPEP point of view. You can also reach out to the technical committee chairs and vice chairs. Typically, they're the ones that have developed these user guides and have the expertise in each of the committees that can help you with various ways that you can implement NetPEP. Or you can reach out to other technical committee members, state members that have implemented the NetPEP requirements in their own ways. So there are a variety of resources in addition to the user guides. So does that give anybody time to come up with any questions? All right, well, if there are no questions, then I suppose that is all we have for you today. Again, be on the lookout for the link for this presentation that will be sent out via YouTube link, and we will keep you updated on future webinars. Our future plans for 2022 are to have about one webinar per quarter that cover various topics, including specific technical committees, other NetPEP agenda items such as this user guides, utilizing of the user guides presentation. If you have any ideas for webinars, please reach out to us and let us know. And if that's all, have a good afternoon.